Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. We are going to listen to James Vowles. Let's listen to him.
There's James Vowles. James, lovely to see you. Are you alright there? Do you need a brolly? Because as I said, it's raining in the middle of the paddock. If you want to come this way, it's a little bit drier. What are we thinking?
Generally in life, or about qualifying?
Yeah, well, we've got a lot of time, so whichever way you want to go.
Yeah, this is sort of, we knew there was a risk today. There's a risk tomorrow as well, which is still up in the sort of high 60, 80% even. The circuit itself, I don't know if you've seen, there's a lot of rubber down all over the place, and there's not quite as many grooves as before. I think it's going to be a challenge out there. We'll get going, I think, today. That this sort of looks as though there's a little bit of gap. I think so. Let's give it a bit of time. There's an announcement coming up in the next few minutes to let us know.
Okay. I mean, any time ETA do we think at the moment? I mean,
as I've come here to talk to you, they were putting an announcement on screen, so you'll know when I know. But they should give us an update in a few seconds.
Okay. Tell us a little bit. At 15:45, we understand the next update is. But what are you doing now? I actually was just asking Bernie about the processes. What can you do to get yourself ready?
So the main thing is we're going back to all the other wet sessions we've had here. There was a really good race in 2016. There was a wet session in 2019. Going back and just understanding that the tyres are different, and of course the track's been completely resurfaced. But we're here to understand what happened previously. How was the warm-up? How were the tyres in those conditions, and especially for Franco. Franco hasn't driven either an Inter or an X-Wet before, and it's a bit of a trial by fire here. So it's working with him so he understands what temperatures we're looking for, how not to damage the surface of the tyre, and what will happen in that sort of long qualifying session.
James, I was just going to ask, given that qualifying is now wet, most likely, and the race tomorrow looks wet as well, are you changing significantly the setup of the car, assuming that the forecast is good enough tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, in the old days, we used to change quite a bit. You'd raise the floor, you'd change the roll bars. You don't really doing that so much these days. What we would be focused on is, do we want to go up and down force, which is where you're going with that commentary? And do we want to change the sort of nozzle caked in, depending on which team or what name they've got? There's a little bit of tuning that we'll play to put more energy into the tyres. We'll do that, but we're not going to change downforce. We think that what we've got is probably the right setting for both.
James, you mentioned Franco there, and I want to bring it back to him. I had a lovely sit down with him yesterday. He's really not dropped the ball since he's got here, so I know that this is going to be a big challenge for him, but he's probably going to do a very good job of it. But from what we understand, you have quite a long contract with him, and you're very hesitant to let go of him, even though there's a lot of interest for him around this paddock for a lot of money.
Yes, we do. I was trying to find the question in there, but yeah, I mean, when we signed Franco up, it was on the basis that he was incredibly talented, and it's a typical thing. The teams will put drivers like that onto a reasonably long contract. What I've said in the press conference, I'll say again now, is we're fortunate. Franco has done an incredible job. He did another brilliant job in the race today, defending against Lewis, which is one of the hardest out there. And from that perspective, I think the world can see, and it's great reward for him, that he's exceptional, and they want to have really some opportunity to work with him. All we're doing right now, and all I can say right now, is we're looking at what options are available for him for the future, and we'll hopefully have some news that we can talk about, but right now there's not a lot.
Oh, who are they?
Yeah, this is not exclusive, as it turns out.
Yeah, okay. Was that going to be your question?
No, I was just going to say, you got Carlos coming over. I mean, how are you going to get him to feel like he's come to the right place after when he moves from Ferrari? He's going to be brewing, if you like, the forced hand he's had, because he's giving up such a competitive car. What have you got to give him for next year?
I hope he's not ruined.
No, I didn't say ruined. I said rue.
Oh, right. He's going to be
ruined, not ruined.
I thought that's a strange commentary.
Oh God.
What we can provide is this. He knows what we've got coming. Certainly in 26, 27, 28. We've given him some insight into all of that. It's worth speaking to him over myself. Every time I talk to him, he's actually quite motivated by what is coming in our future together. And he can see the difference that he'll make here. For sure, we're way further back than Ferrari and even McLaren, where he was before. But we have an environment where he can make a tremendous difference. And that's really what's motivating more than anything else. Every time I talk to him, he's just, have you thought about this? Should we do this? Where should we go here? And that's why he's still out there winning races in a Ferrari. I think he sees the future potential, and that's what's driving him.
And how has this been for Alex? Because obviously he hasn't had a competitive teammate for quite some time. Obviously Franco's come in, but next year Carlos is going to be there. What's it been like already with these few races with Franco?
So So I've just walked out of a strategy meeting where Alex was, for probably half of it, helping Franco with, this is what you need to do in the tyres, this is where you need to go. Alex is absolutely fine with all this. He knows that the last few races have not been about him in performance terms. They've been a set of sequences that just really haven't played to any of our strengths. And that hasn't diminished him from being a team player. He wants this team to be successful. And as a result of that, he's putting, as I say, half his time into Franco to make sure he has a leg up.
I was just going to ask as well, James, just on the back of that. Obviously, both drivers being so close drives the team forward. So have you started to see any result of that already? You know, it'll push Alex a little bit to get a better performance, but it also brings better upgrades eventually, doesn't it?
It definitely. So you've seen it from how they work in the simulator. It's not about each individual just finding a little bit of performance or setup. It is more about what are we doing with the 25 car and the 26 car. I'm seeing that with in sessions. It's a really hard compromise between spending your time working on now and the future. But what they've been working on is electronic tools, different setup directions, which will give us insights into the future at the compromise of performance in the weekend. And that's sort of really where Alex is incredibly strong. He knows how to put future focus on what we're doing. It's the same with Franco. He spent, obviously, in Mexico, that FP2 was about us understanding the tyres for the future, and he put all his heart and effort into it. So I think certainly right now we have an incredible environment where everyone can see what's in front of us and wants to help towards it.
We've got another hour, I think, before we get an announcement.
I've got a cup of tea getting cold.
Well, I was going to ask you, are you hampered by resources, as far as the budget goes? Are you getting close to everything you can spend?
Financially, I'm not hampered at all. Every single penny you can spend in the cost cap, we are spending in the cost cap. It's quite the opposite. We have probably something close to 20 million more than I can fit into it, and we're just trying to find where do we have to make sacrifices at the moment.
I'm free. I can do extra work.
I'm very good at spending money, as it turns out. That isn't where we're hampered, but where we're still hampered is you can't bring in some of the infrastructure we need overnight. Some of it is 24, 36 months, and that's the frustration. I can see what can be achieved, but a lot of it just not there today.
Thank you, James. Go and have your cup of tea. We shall
I'll enjoy
continue
it.
to
Thanks
fill
so much,
here
Rob.
until
It was a bit long interview. They had a lot of talks because of the delay of the qualifying. As I understand, first thing, as I understand, like, he doesn't want to let Franco Colapinto go, but so he don't know what to do with Franco Colapinto, because the two seats of Williams are taken by Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz. Maybe he will sacrifice Alex Albon, but also he's doing good. I don't know. I don't know what he thinks about Franco Colapinto's future, but let's hope the best future for Franco Colapinto, and let's hope to have the qualifying tonight, let's say. Also, there was a lot of talks about the other topics. I'm not gonna comment them. If you have any comment about the other topics, comment it, like the video, and subscribe to the channel.